Today we're going to talk about problem solving. Critical thinking, problem solving skills are important both in school and in work. I gave you a little blurb here because I'm going to give credit to George Paglia who came up with this process, but we see it in math books all the time. Some form of a four-step process to help you solve problems. So I want to go through and highlight the four steps, and then we're going to solve a few problems together. I'm not going to go through each of these. I want you to read them on your own time, but I want you to have them available to you so that when you're working these problems by yourself or with a partner, then you can look at different strategies that will help you. So first and foremost, this four-step, the first step that we have is to make sure that you understand the problem. Now, how do you understand the problem? Is you read it. And the most important thing about that is you read it several times. I've been doing these for a long time, and I'm telling you, sometimes I have to read the problem 3 or 4, 5 times to figure out what exactly it's asking me, which is the first thing you got to do to help you sift through the information is determine exactly what the problem is asking you. The second thing that you want to do is to devise a plan. Okay, and this is where you get into multiple problem solving strategies, and I'm going to do some examples for you, but read through those and figure out which one's going to work best for you. Okay, step three is going to be to carry out the plan and solve the problem. Carry out the plan and solve the problem. That's where your math skills come in, or just thinking. And then last but not least, you want to look back and check your answer. Um, this is important because this kind of goes along with what we've been working on the last couple of days, which is estimation. But as we had some examples before, try to understand the reasonableness of your answer as you go through. Okay, so here's some examples. The first two we have are actually reading problems and finding out what information is not necessary. So they've given you an unnecessary piece of information, and then they want you to, of course, solve the problem. So, as we read it, a salesperson receives a weekly salary of $350. In addition, $15 is paid for every item sold in excess of 200 items. How much extra is received from the sale of 212 items? So they're asking me how much extra is received. So all I care about is the extra. I do not need to know that he receives a weekly salary or what his weekly salary is, because so that's my unnecessary information. And now to talk about um, how do we find out how much extra is received? Well, he gets paid $15 for every item sold in excess of 200. So we got to figure out how many items he sold. So that would be he sold 212. So how many in excess of 200? Of course, is 12. Now, sometimes if you will keep those labels with your answers as you work through the problem, it will help you understand what goes on the answer or how to do the problems. He gets paid $15 for every item. This is multiplication here because I'm going to get paid $15 per item. And then my item or items, it doesn't matter if one's singular or one's plural, they cancel. So I'm going to calculate 12 times 15, and my answer will be in dollars because that's the unit I have left, and have an answer of $180. Okay, let's look at number 19. A parking garage charges $2.50 for the first hour and 50 cents for each additional hour. If a customer gave the parking attendant $20 for parking from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., how much did the garage charge? So again, What are they asking me? They're asking me how much did the garage charge? Well, to figure out how much they charged me, I got to know how much it costs and have to know how long I parked. But I don't need to know that I gave him $20. I would need to know that if they asked me for change, but they didn't ask me for change. So that number is not important to the problem and it's thrown in there just to confuse you. Okay? Now, I'm going to work this in two different strategies so you can see, figure out which method is going to work for you. Okay? $2.50 for the first hour, so he charged me $2.50. And then 50 cents for each additional hour. So from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. is going to be $2.50. Okay, so if I left at 11 a.m., I'd have to pay $2.50. But if I left at 12 p.m., then I would add 50 cents to that. So plus 50 means that I would have $3. And then if I stayed until 1 p.m., I would have another 50 cents. So we would have $3.50. And if I stayed till 2 p.m., I would add another 50 cents, which would be $4. And then when I finally left at 3 p.m., then I would add a final 50 cents, and that would give me $4.50. So that's how much they charged me. Now, this is kind of working through a table. Another way that I want you to see that will help you, some people could work this way and understand, so I want to kind of show you both of them. But he charged me $2.50 for the first hour, and then he was charging me 50 cents per hour after that first hour. So between 10 and 3 p.m., 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. is 2 hours, and 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. is 3 hours. So that's a total of 5 hours. But keep in mind, this is the first hour. Okay, it's 250 for the first hour, and then this is for your additional hours. So to finish that, we would have 250 plus 50 cents times how many additional hours? If I take one away, then I have 4 hours left. So that's 250 plus 50 cents times 4, or half of 4, which is 2, and that gives me a total of 450. Okay? So I'm showing you, trying to let you see that there's often more than one way to do a problem, and the beauty of math to me is no matter how you do it, we're all going to get the same answer. So this is what's so important about y'all thinking through these problems and doing them. Okay, so I'm going to go through another problem, similar problem that you're going to have to deal with, and I think really corresponds to real life. What's the better value? You go into the store and you've got a 15.3-ounce box of cereal for $3.37, or a 24-ounce box of cereal for $4.59. So what you want to do, the best way to compare those two is to find the unit prices on each of them. So if I'm paying $3.37 for 15.3 ounces, then I'm going to get my calculator and divide that out, and I'm going to find out that that is 22, it comes out to be 22.026. So I'm going to round that to 22 cents per ounce. This is not a complete dollar. And on the 24 ounce one, we have a total of 459 over 24 ounces. And when you divide that out, you're going to get 0.19125. So I'm going to round that to 19 cents per ounce. So I needed to figure out what the unit prices were to truly compare, and you can see that the one that is 24 ounces is going to be the better price for your cereal. Now, supermarket displays don't make it that easy for you. What they do is they give a unit price for the 15.3 ounce box in terms of a cost per ounce, but when they give you the 24-ounce box, they give you a cost per pound. So what you're actually going to see in the store is for the 15-ounce box, it's going to say 22 cents per ounce. That's its unit price. But I have to change this 19 cents per ounce to pounds. And we know that there are 16 ounces in a pound. My ounces cancel, so I'm going to do 0.19 times 16, and that's going to give me $3.04 per pound. So to make it a little hard for you, those are the unit prices that the supermarket's going to give you, because it makes it a little bit harder for you to figure out what your unit price is. So, does the better value always have a lower displayed unit price? It does not. And what you have to look at is the units. Look and make sure that your units are the same, because if they're not the same, then you can't actually compare those prices. Okay? One last problem. This one is purchasing an automobile. Um, Someday you're all going to purchase an automobile, so we want to talk about the price of that and how it works in the real world. So we have a car for 23,000 and it's worth 2,700 after 7 years. Assuming the car's value depreciated steadily from year to year, what is it worth at the end of the third year? So if he starts at 23,000, they want to know what is the worth at the end of the third year. I'm starting, so this is my original price at 23,000, and after 7 years, I'm ending at 2,700. So how much did my car decrease in value? I'm going to subtract these two and find out that that is 20,300. So over 7 years, my car depreciated in value by that much. And if they said they did it steadily from year to year, then I can divide that by 7 and find out that I have a depreciation of $2,900 per year. That's how much my car is depreciating. Okay? So, if we do it similar to what I did in the beginning, then you can take this problem and again start off with 2,300, and actually let's go after year, and I'm going to make a little table similar to what I did up at the top, and we're going to figure out what the prices be. So after year 1, then that's going to be 23,000 minus how much did it depreciate in a year? 2,900. So after year 1, the price of the car will be 20,100. 20,100. And after year 2, I got to take what I have, 20,100, and I'm going to subtract 2,900. So after year 2, I'm going to have 17,200. And then after year 3, I'm going to start with that number and subtract 2,900. Oops, it's supposed to be a 0, 2,900. And I'm going to end up with 14,300. They asked me, what is it worth at the end of the third year? So after year 3, my car is worth $14,300. Now, just to carry forth so some people can help you perhaps make the transition, okay? Each year, what I'm taking off is I'm starting with $23,000, and I'm subtracting $2,900 for each year I'm going to call it T for time because if I put a Y, then that um, confuses people sometimes. So this is representing the number of years that I've had the car. So in the same fashion, 23,000 minus 2,900 after 3 years is going to give me the same price of $14,300. Okay? So we worked some problems together. It's now important for you to work some on your own, and I'm available to help you think through the problem, talk the problem, but the best thing for you is to practice these and actually think them through. That's the way you're going to be able to do them eventually on your own. So for the last thing before you turn in your note sheet, I want you to fill in the blank here. I want you to go back to the first page of the notes and read over all the different problem solving strategies and give me your favorite one or the one that you think is the easiest one to use. So write that in and then turn in your note sheet to me and complete your classwork.